Have you ever felt that as we grow older, the world around us starts to feel heavier, more overwhelming? That there are relationships in your life that not only fail to bring joy, but silently drain your energy and optimism? Especially after 60, every moment becomes more precious, and you deserve to live each day to its fullest. Today, we'll delve into a deeply important topic: the types of people you need to distance yourself from to protect your energy, mental well-being, and peace in this golden chapter of your life. This is your time to prioritize yourself, let go of what drains you, and embrace only what truly deserves the effort you've put into your life. Stay with me until the end of this video, as I'll share practical ways to identify toxic individuals, set firm boundaries, and most importantly, how to create the life you've always dreamed of, one filled with freedom, purpose, and true happiness. Stay with me until the end of this video, as I'll share practical ways to identify toxic individuals and true happiness. Take care of you. If you feel it's time to take back control and live the life you've always wanted, this is your chance to start. This video is more than just a conversation. It's an invitation to real change. So, what are you waiting for? Let's embark on this journey together and take charge of your life today. 1. The constant complainer. Let's take a moment to reflect on one of the most toxic personality types older adults often encounter: the constant complainer. Do you know someone like this? They're the kind of person who always finds something to be unhappy about, whether it's the weather not being perfect, their pension being too little, or their children not living up to their expectations. No matter what you do or how hard you try, to them, nothing seems good enough. From the moment the day begins, their complaints fill the air, creating a steady stream of negativity that can be draining. It's exhausting, isn't it? But these people aren't just annoying. They can be dangerous to your well-being. Spending time with them is like catching a mental virus. Slowly but surely, you start to see the world through their distorted lens, where everything is wrong, everyone is to blame, and life is inherently to life in them. From the misery that comes joy. Deep down, though, you know this isn't true. Life, even after 60, still holds so much beauty and opportunity. There's joy to be found, new experiences to be embraced, and countless reasons to look forward to the future. But to fully enjoy these, you must distance yourself from those who constantly bring negativity into your life, those who only see gray skies where there could be sunshine. Ask yourself, are you surrounded by complaints? How does it make you feel? Drained? Frustrated? Defeated? If so, it might be time to not only declutter your physical space, but also reassess the relationships you maintain. Who truly deserves to be a part of your life? By recognizing and removing these individuals, you create space for positivity and peace. And that leads us to another group of people who can be just as harmful to your sense of peace: energy vampires. You might wonder, who are energy vampires? They're not mythical creatures, but the way they affect you can feel just as draining. These individuals don't suck your blood. Instead, they drain your energy and emotional well-being in subtle yet powerful ways. They often appear pleasant, even charming, but gradually they leave you feeling completely depleted without you even realizing it. Picture this: a neighbor visits, bringing freshly baked cookies and a warm smile. At first, the interaction feels delightful, but before you know it, they begin unloading all their problems. "Oh, my life is so hard. I don't have enough to get by. How do you even manage the challenges of growing older?" Suddenly, what started as a friendly visit turns into an emotional dumping session filled with negativity. An hour later, you're left feeling exhausted, unsure of how such a pleasant meeting left you so drained. They didn't yell or criticize you directly, yet somehow your vitality is gone. That's exactly how energy vampires operate, quietly and effectively. I've seen this happen with a friend, Maria. She lived with her daughter, a loving and kind woman. Yet every time life threw her daughter a challenge, she turned to Maria for support. At first, Maria was happy to help, but over time, her daughter's problems began to consume Maria's life. Maria felt like she was drowning in issues that weren't hers, unable to distinguish where her life ended and her daughter's struggles began. What's the lesson here? Don't let yourself get pulled into other people's chaos. You have your own life to live, your own challenges to manage, and most importantly, your own health to protect. After 60, every additional burden, whether emotional, mental, or physical, can take a significant toll. Remember, you have every right to say, "I need my space," or "This is your problem to solve, not mine." Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's essential. The people in your life should bring you joy, understanding, and balance, not stress and negativity. Choose your companions wisely, because your time, energy, and happiness are too valuable to waste. You deserve to live in peace, surrounded by positivity and love. 2. The controlling ones. Tish, a mother, dreamed of traveling with her friends, exploring the world, and creating unforgettable memories. But every time she expressed her desire, her son would say, "Mom, you shouldn't go anywhere. You might fall, get sick, and then what would I do?" Because of these words, she chose to stay home, living in the shadow of her son's fears, instead of embracing the wonders life had to offer. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She had so much to give, so much to experience, but she allowed her son's worries to shape her life. She gave up the chance to explore and enjoy life, all to accommodate his anxieties. This raises a crucial question. Are you letting someone else decide how you live your life? Remember, your life is a masterpiece, crafted by your own hands and heart. Your hopes, dreams, joys, and even sorrows, all these are part of the beautiful picture of your life. No one, no matter how much they care about you, has the right to dictate how you should live. The Bible reminds us, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." John chapter 10. This means that we are all deserving of a life rich in joy and freedom, just as God intended. If someone in your life doesn't respect that freedom, it's time to set boundaries. Let them live their life, and you live yours. God has given you the gift of free will, and no one has the right to take that away. Ask yourself, who in your life is trying to control or limit your growth, causing you to miss out on opportunities, adventures, or even moments of peace and happiness? They may have unintentionally held you back from chasing your dreams, or simply enjoying life's simple pleasures. It's time to honor them, but also to protect your space and rights. You don't have to continue tolerating interference, especially when it harms your happiness and personal growth. When it comes to our love for adult children, no one can deny the depth of that bond. We take pride in seeing them grow and become independent. But let's face it, there are times, especially after 60, when living with adult children isn't just a challenge, it can feel like a burden. Many people over 60 still have at least one adult child who relies on them, not just financially, but emotionally. These children may be grown in age, but have yet to fully embrace independence. We continue to support them, even when they should be standing on their own 2 feet. This doesn't mean you don't love your children. But if that love requires you to sacrifice too much, blurring the lines between your life and theirs, it's no longer healthy support. As the Apostle Paul wrote in the Bible, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Galatians 6 verse 2. But this doesn't mean you must bear their weight endlessly, especially when it harms you. Sometimes, love means saying no so they can learn to stand on their own. Old-timer baseball gave him a deep passion. Remember, you've spent your life raising, nurturing, and guiding your children. Now, you deserve to live for yourself, enjoying life as God intended. If your adult children aren't independent yet, help them by encouraging and creating opportunities for their growth, rather than enabling their dependence. Ask yourself, is your love for your children becoming a burden? Are they holding you back from enjoying the life you've worked so hard to build? If the answer is yes, set boundaries. True love isn't about endless sacrifice. It's about empowering each other to live full, meaningful lives. Many of you may wonder, after years of raising them, encouraging independence, and guiding them to build their own lives, why do some adult children still behave as though they cannot stand on their own? As if all your efforts and sacrifices have been in vain. How many times have you felt frustrated watching an adult child, now in their 30s or even 40s, treat you as though you owe them something? Requests like, "Mom, can you make me something to eat?" Or, "Dad, I'm short on cash, can you help me out?" Might seem harmless at first, but over time you realize these requests never stop. They become an emotional anchor holding you back from moving forward and enjoying your own life. Worse, they justify it under the guise of love, tugging at your emotions by reminding you of your parental role. "You're my mom/dad. How can you say no to me?" Suddenly you find your steadfast principles beginning to waver. How can you refuse? After all, they're your children, even if they're now 40 or 50 years old. Role model middle-aged moms. But here's a truth that few dare to acknowledge. Every time you continue to rescue your adult children, you not only deny them the chance to grow, but also rob yourself of the right to fully live your own life. Christian teachings remind us that true love is not indulgent, but nurturing. Remember, you are not just a parent. You are also an individual with dreams, goals, and the right to happiness. God doesn't want you to sacrifice endlessly without leaving room for yourself. True love includes granting your children the freedom to become independent and take responsibility for their own lives. I'm reminded of Clara, a woman in her 60s. She spent her life caring for her son, who at 40 still couldn't support himself. He lived at home, contributing nothing financially, doing nothing around the house, and constantly asking for money. Clara often said, "He's my son. How could I ever send him away?" I find the vision to be taken as a very clear hint. But one day, Clara became seriously ill and needed treatment in another city. Her son not only didn't help, but was indifferent to her situation. He continued living his life as if nothing had changed. That was the moment Clara realized the painful truth. In her efforts to love and protect her son, she had sacrificed not only her health, but her life. It was a necessary wake-up call. She saw that continuing this cycle of dependence wasn't just harming her, it was also holding her son back from growing, taking responsibility, and discovering his own potential. The lesson for all of us is this: don't let your love become the reason you are taken advantage of. God teaches that everyone must take responsibility for their own life. This means knowing when to let go. You don't need to sacrifice your happiness and future to sustain your child's dependence. Ask yourself, are there adult children in your life who still rely on you without contributing anything in return? Have you unintentionally allowed your love for them to become an avenue for exploitation, leaving you physically and emotionally drained? The solution lies in setting boundaries. Yes, you love your children, but love doesn't mean sacrificing everything indefinitely. It's time to have honest conversations and establish clear limits. You are not obligated to be their lifelong safety net. The Bible also encourages independence and personal responsibility. Galatians 6:05 states, "For each one should carry their own load." Helping your grown children achieve independence isn't a rejection of love. It's a way to encourage their growth. You deserve a life filled with joy, peace, and the freedom to rediscover yourself. Remember, you've done enough. Now it's time to live for yourself. Let's dive into a topic that evokes deep emotions: love. Love is something that can bring endless inspiration, but also provoke worry. Perhaps you've wondered if you'll ever feel it again, or whether love still matters as we age. Today, I want to share that love knows no age limit. We often hear that intimacy fades as we grow older, but that's not true. The flame of love and connection can still burn brightly if you're willing to keep your heart open. Many people retain their desires, passions, and longing for a relationship that offers more than just emotional companionship. However, as we age, we understand that love thrives on respect, understanding, and the freedom to grow. Choosing a partner after 60 requires careful consideration. Not everyone will complement this chapter of your life. Ask yourself, does this relationship enrich my life, or does it bring stress? Sometimes, maintaining a connection from a distance is a better choice, one that allows you to share warmth without losing yourself. Many older adults seek companionship out of fear of loneliness, but fear is never a solid foundation for any relationship. Ask yourself, are you looking for a partner because you truly want to share your life, or are you afraid of being alone? If you're already in a relationship, take a moment to evaluate. Do you feel respected, free, and happy? Or do you feel burdened by expectations and responsibilities? True love is about mutual support, not dependence. The Bible reminds us in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. A healthy relationship should uplift you, not weigh you down. If a relationship doesn't bring joy, peace, and value, it might be time to reassess. Now, let's turn to an important topic for men over 60. Who should you avoid living with? You might think, at my age, as long as I'm comfortable and not lonely, it doesn't matter who I live with. But the truth is, not everyone who enters your life will bring peace or value. Some people, especially women you meet after returning to single life, may unintentionally drain your energy, and that's something no man should endure at this stage. Lastly, throughout this trilogy, consider the caregiver type of woman. These individuals often enter your life when you're at your most vulnerable, perhaps after a divorce, the loss of a beloved spouse, or simply the creeping sense of loneliness. At that moment, a woman may come into your life offering care, attention, and promises to help you through it all. You might think, this is wonderful. Who wouldn't want to be cared for? But here's what you need to consider. Is the care rooted in genuine love, or is it a disguised form of control? At first, everything may seem perfect. She cooks for you, checks in on you, and makes you feel cared for. But over time, you notice she begins to encroach on your personal space. She questions your friendships, dictates how you spend your free time, and subtly imposes her views on what you should do. A friend of mine, James, experienced this after losing his wife. Initially, the woman who entered his life provided comfort and support that helped ease his loneliness. However, within a few months, he realized she was beginning to take over his life, deciding when he could see his friends and even criticizing his hobbies. Though he cared for her, he felt trapped in a relationship that lacked freedom. The more he tried to learn how to live without her, the more he felt with hard terror. The Bible teaches that true love is built on freedom and respect. Ephesians 5:33 says, "Each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband." A healthy relationship should never strip you of your individuality or personal freedom. Love after 60, a journey of careful choices. Love after 60 can be a beautiful journey, but it requires wisdom in choosing who enters your life. Seek relationships that bring support, respect, and freedom. You deserve a love that brings joy and peace, not control or exhaustion. Remember, love at any age should be built on sincerity and mutual respect. But tread carefully, my friend. Sometimes what appears to be care on the surface hides something else entirely. At first, everything seems perfect. She cooks for you, asks about your health, and even helps tidy up around the house. It all seems genuine, doesn't it? Yet over time, subtle changes emerge. She might start involving herself in every aspect of your life, perhaps too much. She questions your friendships, controls your time, and discourages you from pursuing hobbies you enjoy. You might hear her say, "Why do you need to meet your friends? At your age, you should rest more." Initially, these words might feel like concern, but over time, you may begin to wonder, is this really care, or is it control? In reality, this isn't genuine love, but a form of emotional manipulation that gradually erodes your freedom and autonomy. I recall a man named Richard, 65, who lost his wife several years ago. He met a woman 2 decades younger, who captivated him with her youthfulness and attentiveness. She cooked for him, helped him reorganize his life, and brought a warmth he had been missing. However, it didn't take long for her to control every part of his life, deciding when he could meet friends, dictating his weekend plans, and even criticizing his love of gardening. Richard began to feel like a guest in his own home, with his once independent life shrinking dramatically. Jane, no one, especially after 60, should live like this. At this stage in life, you should be the master of your own destiny. A healthy relationship is not about control, but about mutual support and growth. The Bible reminds us that true love respects the freedom of others. Ephesians 5:33 says, "Each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband." Ask yourself, are you in a relationship where the other person claims to love you, but makes you feel like a prisoner in your own life? If so, ask yourself, is this how I want to spend my precious years? It's time to reclaim control over your happiness. People who don't respect your time and boundaries. Additionally, pay close attention to another type of person: those who don't respect your time or boundaries. Do you know someone like this? They often assume your time is infinite and that you should spend it fulfilling their needs. They might say, "You're retired now. What's keeping you busy? Why not help me with this?" Understand why helping others speak and absorb it. At first, these requests may seem minor, but when they happen repeatedly, you'll realize they're encroaching on your time and freedom. The truth is, your time, especially after 60, is more precious than ever. It's the one thing you can't get back. and you deserve to spend it on what you love. You've spent a lifetime working, raising children, and caring for your family. Now's the time to live for yourself. But how can you do that if you're constantly pulled into others' demands and issues? This is where setting clear boundaries becomes essential. With application of a universal principle, all the degrees of service, the many facets of personal freedom, the Bible encourages us to manage our time wisely. Ephesians 5:15-16 says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity." This means you have the right to protect your time and space. People who don't respect those boundaries, no matter how close they are, can harm your peace of mind. Remember, you don't have to say yes to every request. You don't owe anyone endless help. And you don't have to be perpetually available to meet others' needs. This is your time. Use it wisely. Living in alignment with your values and priorities not only brings you happiness, but also honors the gift of time that God has given you. Have you ever wondered why you spend so much time and energy on things or people that don't truly bring you joy and fulfillment? If you've lost your way, look no further than 14 days away from today's Friday 13th meditation. How many years of your life have been dedicated to serving others, leaving little to no room for your own happiness and personal growth? Do you feel as though you're living under someone else's terms, constantly prioritizing their needs over your own dreams and aspirations? Dreams that should have been pursued long ago, but were instead put on hold. It's time to stand up for yourself. Be bold enough to say no when necessary, and yes to your own peace. There is nothing wrong with protecting your well-being, and you should never feel guilty for choosing yourself. This is the moment to find the courage to live authentically, free from the expectations and demands of those who may not realize they're unintentionally draining your energy. The people who impose their limitations on you. Let's talk about another group of people. Those who may not mean any harm, but are far from ideal companions as you grow older. These are the people who view aging as a death sentence. They constantly remind you that your best years are behind you, that you should slow down, sit still, and accept that growing older means giving up on the things you love. They themselves may not totally realize how decrepit to rely upon the things you love. They impose their fears and limitations on you, often saying things like, "At your age, you should take it easy. Why bother trying? You're not young anymore," the banker's wife told him after he received it. At first, these words might seem like they're coming from a place of concern, but in reality, they don't help. They gradually erode your confidence, planting seeds of doubt about your worth and your ability to live fully. They turn their fears into your reality. What's heartbreaking is how many people fall into this trap, even though there are countless older individuals who live with vitality and inspiration. I've met people in their 70s and 80s who are still traveling, learning, and chasing their dreams. These individuals are living proof that age is just a number, not a barrier. This is what I deeply believe. Growing older does not signal the end of passion, dreams, or self-discovery. On the contrary, it brings the priceless gift of wisdom, allowing you to recognize what truly matters and granting you the freedom to live in alignment with your deepest desires. You don't have to retreat from the world. You don't have to abandon the things you love. You can continue learning, creating, and growing. Don't let others' fears become your limits. Yet, there will always be those around you who try to convince you otherwise. They might say, "You shouldn't travel at your age. Starting something new now is too risky." What they fail to realize is that those limitations belong to them not to you. Their fears don't need to become your reality. The most liberating thing you can do is challenge these limiting beliefs. God teaches us that we are created with a purpose, and regardless of age, we can continue to pursue what brings joy and meaning to our lives. Romans 12:02 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Break free from others' fears. Live the life God has intended for you, full of purpose, freedom, and joy. When you surround yourself with people who encourage you to explore life and push you forward, something magical happens. You begin to see the world through a different lens. You realize that age is not a limitation, but an opportunity to redefine your life. Ask yourself, is there anyone in your life who constantly reminds you of what you can no longer do? Do they tell you that you're too old or that your time is past? How do those words make you feel? If those statements make you doubt yourself, it's time to step away from their influence. You have the right to take control of your life, and you don't need to let someone else's fears dictate how you live. Remember this: you are still capable of accomplishing incredible things, no matter your age. You can learn something new, start a project you've always dreamed of, or take the trip you've been longing for. God has gifted you time and vitality, and you have the right to use those gifts in ways that bring you joy. It's time to say no to the limits imposed by others and yes to your own life. Let the years ahead become a new chapter filled with meaning and overflowing with joy. It's easy to think of age as an obstacle, especially when those around you often make you feel that there's nothing left to try after a certain point in life. Sadly, the very people who should be encouraging you sometimes end up imposing their own fears and insecurities onto you. Have you ever heard statements like, "Why bother learning something new at this age? Starting a new career? That's ridiculous. Exercising at your age? What's the point?" These comments may not come from a place of malice, but they reflect their own fears and limitations, not yours. They think they're protecting you from disappointment, but in reality, they're taking away your opportunities, your strength, and your future. They believe they're helping, but instead, they're building walls around your potential. Remember, after 60, a completely new chapter of your life begins. This chapter can be filled with joy, adventures, and fresh experiences, but only if you have the courage to embrace it. In God, we are called to live fully, unbound by the past or fears of the future. Psalm 118:24 reminds us, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." It's time to stop worrying about what you can no longer do and focus on what you can still achieve. I've seen countless people discover talents and passions they never knew they had after retiring. They've found joy in painting, taken up a new sport, or even started a business. These individuals didn't let age define their dreams, and neither should you. Every time I meet someone who discovers a new passion later in life, I am not only inspired but also moved by how they radiate light to those around them. They prove that age is not a barrier, but an opportunity to redefine yourself. Think about examples like Colonel Sanders, who founded KFC at the age of 60, Grandma Moses, who began painting at 70 and became a world-renowned artist. They didn't let age stop them from achieving their dreams. They are living proof that it's never too late to do something extraordinary. Don't let others' limits become yours. If someone doubts your abilities, that's their issue, not yours. Their skepticism has no place in your journey. The Bible reminds us that each person is created with a unique purpose, and age does not diminish your worth or your potential. Ask yourself, who in your life is making you believe it's too late to start something new? Are you ready to rise above those discouraging words and pursue what you've always wanted to do? The truth is, after 60, you owe no one explanations, apologies, or sacrifices that don't align with your desires. You spent a lifetime raising children, building a career, and supporting family and friends. Now, it's time to live for yourself, living true to yourself. If someone makes you feel guilty for taking time to care for yourself, remember this: you are not selfish for choosing happiness and peace. Life is a precious gift from God, and it is our responsibility to cherish and enjoy it to the fullest. Turning 60 isn't the end. It's a new beginning, a chance to live freely without the weight of others' expectations. This is your time to take control of your life and embrace the meaningful and joyful days you truly deserve. Thank you for spending your valuable time here with me. I hope today's message inspires and empowers you to move forward with confidence and shine brightly in your journey through life. You deserve happiness and the freedom to live life exactly as you envision it. If you found this message helpful, please hit the like button, share it with those who might need to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more valuable content. Your support means so much to me, and I look forward to building an inspiring community together with you. Live boldly, live authentically, and never stop chasing your dreams. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next video.